All right, let's dive into something a little different today. You ready for this? We're doing a deep dive into courier services.
Courier
Yeah,
services.
you heard that right. Specifically, we're looking at Boxit, a Boston-based courier company. Now, before you click away thinking this is an ad, it's not. Their website just caught our attention. They say they offer services in cities all over the U.S. And that's what we want to figure out. How can a local business pull that off?
Yeah, right off the bat, I noticed their website has a mix of services. They've got trucking and logistics, like most courier companies. But they really seem to be focusing on same-day delivery and medical courier services, almost like that's their specialty.
Right. And did you see that blog post about delivering legal documents? They talk about how important it is to know Boston, to be able to navigate those crazy streets. I can relate to that. I once spent an hour, maybe even more, trying to find a friend's apartment in Beacon Hill. Boston's roads are their own special kind of maze.
Oh, absolutely. That's where Boxit's emphasis on local expertise comes in. They know that in a city like Boston, one wrong turn can mean you miss a deadline. I also noticed they use the phrase chain of custody in that blog post. It's almost as if they're saying, we don't just deliver your document, we keep track of it every step of the way to ensure security and accountability.
That's pretty impressive for a simple delivery.
Yeah, it is.
And while we're on the topic of specialized services, did you see all those blog posts about their medical courier work?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they deliver everything from source tissue for biotech labs to daily biospecimens for hospitals and research labs. It really makes you think about all that happens behind the scenes to keep healthcare running.
Yeah. It's something most people don't really think about. You get your blood drawn at the doctor, and you just assume it gets to the lab. But there's this whole network of couriers, making sure those samples get transported quickly and safely. And when you think about Boston, with all its world-renowned hospitals and research institutions, Boston must be playing a really vital role in helping those places make medical breakthroughs.
It's like they're part of this scientific relay race,
Yeah.
making sure those samples reach the finish line. But here's the big question. How are they managing nationwide service? When they're based in Boston, do they have some secret fleet of supersonic jets or something?
I doubt that. More likely they have a network of partners or
Yeah.
affiliates across the country. Because if you want to pull off nationwide same-day delivery, you need serious logistical coordination. You're talking about optimized routes, real-time tracking, and maybe even some predictive modeling to account for traffic and weather delays.
It's amazing how much work goes into getting a package from point A to point B on time, especially when those points are so far apart. I'm starting to realize maybe we underestimated the world of courier services.
It's easy to take those services for granted, but they're the backbone of so many industries.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about something else for a minute. Boxit also offers some unusual services. They'll pick up and deliver mail for businesses. Is that really a thing?
It is. I know it sounds strange, but think about it from a business owner's perspective. They're busy running a company. They don't want to deal with mail. So Boxit takes care of it. They grab your mail, sort it, and deliver it straight to your desk. They even talk about the security benefits. No more sensitive documents sitting in a mailbox where someone could steal them.
So it's like having a personal mailroom concierge. I never would have thought of that.
And-
I can see why some businesses would like that,
Yeah.
especially if they're trying to simplify things. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
And they also offer same-day delivery for corporate swag. So if you want to send a client a gift basket or some company goodies, Boxit can handle it.
It's interesting. They're using same-day delivery to improve client relationships. It's not just about getting a product to someone. It's about adding a personal touch, making a client feel valued.
That's a smart strategy.
They did.
It's like saying, we're so efficient, we can deliver happiness in just a few hours. You know, when we started looking into Boxit, I thought it was going to be pretty boring. But the more we learn, the more I realize how complex and interesting it all is.
It really is. Like peeling back the layers of an onion, there's always something more to discover. And we're just getting started. So let's talk more about Boxit's medical courier services. One of their blog posts really caught my eye. It talked about transporting source tissue from farms to these high-tech biotech labs in Cambridge and the Seaport District.
Oh yeah, that one was interesting. You don't usually think about where a tissue sample comes from and the journey it takes to get to a lab working on some groundbreaking medical discovery.
Right. It's definitely not your typical package delivery. They even mention specific farms they work with, like LeMay and Sons, which makes me think they have these established relationships with these really specialized suppliers. And it's not just about speed. They also talk about temperature control, maintaining that chain of custody, and making sure everything complies with regulations. It adds a whole other layer of complexity when you're dealing with biological materials.
It makes sense. You've got these biotech companies
Yeah.
racing to develop new treatments.
Mm-hmm.
So any delay in getting those tissue samples could set back research, which could impact patients waiting for those breakthroughs.
Exactly. Boxit is playing a crucial role in that whole scientific ecosystem. Even though they're working behind the scenes, you could say they're the unsung heroes, making sure researchers have what they need when they need it.
Yeah. It's like they're an extension of the research team,
Mm-hmm.
helping move those discoveries forward. And it's not just about source tissue either. They also have a blog post about daily biospecimen deliveries for hospitals and labs. So we're talking about patient care now, not just
Mhm.
research.
Right. They mentioned working with some big names too, like Quest Diagnostics,
Mhm.
Massachusetts General Hospital, even Boston Children's Hospital. They clearly understand how urgent those deliveries are.
Imagine a doctor waiting for test results to make a decision about a patient's treatment. That Boxit Courier becomes a critical link in getting those samples analyzed and those results back to the doctor.
It really is like a medical relay race. And Boxit is carrying the baton, making sure it gets passed on quickly and smoothly. And they have something called 7 medical courier service levels. It seems like they've created these different service tiers to meet the specific needs of each delivery.
So it's like choosing between express shipping and standard delivery.
Mm-hmm.
But for medical stuff, some samples need to be there ASAP, while others have a little more time.
Exactly. They're not just throwing a package in a truck. We're talking about sensitive materials, often under strict regulations, and they have to be able to adapt to all sorts of situations.
It's a lot of responsibility.
It is.
And I'm guessing those different service levels probably come with different prices too.
I would imagine so. But when you're dealing with deliveries that could save someone's life, I don't think cost is the main concern. It just highlights how quality healthcare relies on all these different services, the ones we see, and the ones working behind the scenes.
And Boxit's right there in the middle of it all, making sure those deliveries happen.
They are.
You know, they keep mentioning nationwide service, but most of their blog posts focus on Boston and the surrounding areas. How does that work?
That's a good point, actually. There's a blog post that might explain that. It's called Need a Speedy Delivery Across New England.
Yeah.
The essentials of sending packages and documents from Boston across New England. It seems to focus specifically on same-day service between Boston and the other New England states.
So maybe not nationwide, but they've definitely got New England covered. And they mentioned delivering all sorts of things: legal documents, laptops, contracts.
It sounds like they're targeting businesses that need things delivered quickly across the region. They even have a cutoff time for same-day delivery, 11:30 a.m. It seems like they've got it down to a science.
Yeah, they figured out the routes and how to make those deliveries happen on time. It's a well-oiled machine. But for packages, it does make you think, though, about the environmental impact of all this rushing around, all these same-day deliveries. I mean, more vehicles on the road, more fuel consumption, more emissions.
That's true. It's a classic dilemma, convenience versus sustainability. We want everything fast, but we also need to think about the environmental cost.
It's a tough issue. No easy answers. But it's something we need to consider as we keep demanding faster and faster deliveries. Okay, let's change gears for a minute and talk about that corporate swag delivery service again. It might seem a little frivolous, but Boxit makes a good argument for using same-day delivery to build relationships with clients.
They do. They say that the speed and the personal touch of same-day delivery can make a client feel special. Like, imagine receiving a gift basket just hours after closing a deal. It's more memorable than a thank you note.
It's like saying, we care about you, and our relationship with you goes beyond just business. In a competitive market, those little things can make a big difference.
They can.
It's all about creating a positive experience and leaving a good impression. And Boxit understands that.
They do.
You know what? I have to admit, I'm still a little confused about that mail pickup and delivery service for businesses.
I understand. It does seem a little strange, but let's try to think like a business owner. They're busy, their time is precious, and dealing with mail can be a real chore. So Boxit takes that off their plate, so they can focus on running their business.
Okay, I can see the appeal, especially for a big company with tons of mail. But wouldn't it be cheaper to just send an employee to the post office?
Maybe, but Boxit focuses on the security aspect. They say your mail is never left unattended. At a post office box or on a loading dock, it goes straight from the post office to your office, so there's less risk of it getting lost or stolen.
That makes sense, especially for businesses with sensitive documents or expensive items.
Exactly. They also highlight the time-saving benefits. No more employees wasting time going to the post office. Boxit handles everything, so your employees can focus on more important things.
I see. So it's all about efficiency.
It is.
I'm starting to get the bigger picture here. Boxit isn't just about delivering packages. They're about providing solutions to very specific business problems.
Yeah.
It's a lot more nuanced than I realized at first.
It is, and that's what makes this whole deep dive so interesting. We're discovering all these hidden complexities of an industry we usually don't think twice about.
Yeah, it's like we're pulling back the curtain and seeing how everything works.
Exactly.
Well, let's keep exploring. There's still more to learn about Boxit. And their unique approach to the courier business. It's amazing. We started with a simple courier company website, and we've ended up talking about logistics, technology, and even the human connections that make it all work.
It shows how we often don't realize just how much we rely on these systems that keep things running. We expect packages to arrive on time, documents to be delivered securely, medical samples to reach their destinations safely. But behind all of that is a whole complex system, and Boxit is a big part of it.
And they're doing it all while staying true to their local roots. Remember how they talked about the importance of local knowledge? In that blog post about legal document delivery, it's not just about knowing the streets, it's about understanding how the city works,
Right.
anticipating the challenges, and finding solutions.
Exactly. That local expertise is what sets them apart. They're not just following a GPS. They're using their knowledge and experience to navigate a city that's known for being difficult to get around.
It's like they figured out how to make Boston work for them. But at the same time, they're also aiming for nationwide service. It's that combination of local expertise and global ambition that makes Boxit so interesting.
It shows that you don't have to choose between being local or global. You can be both. And Boxit seems to have found a way to use their local strengths to build a larger network and reach more people.
And they're not afraid to try new things, offering services like mail pickup and delivery for businesses, or using same-day delivery to strengthen client relationships.
Exactly.
It's that kind of innovative thinking that keeps a company moving forward.
It's about realizing that logistics is more than just moving things around. It's about solving problems and creating value for customers. And Boxit seems to understand that.
So, what's the biggest thing you've learned from this deep dive?
I think it's that. Even industries that seem ordinary can be surprisingly complex and interesting. When you take a closer look, we often don't think about the systems that keep things running smoothly, and Boxit is a perfect example of that.
I agree. It's like we've gotten a behind-the-scenes look at something we usually don't see, and it makes you appreciate all the work and ingenuity that goes into it.
It also shows that innovation can happen anywhere, even in an industry like courier services. Boxit's willingness to adapt, to change, and to find new ways to meet their customers' needs is something we can all learn from.
Well said. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of Boxit. We hope you enjoyed this journey to the heart of logistics, and we hope you'll join us next time as we explore another fascinating topic. Until then, thanks for listening, and we